Hit the shower. Grab your coffee. And get ready to attack the weekend with Charlie Uczen and Jack Pembroke as they catch you up on everything Wisconsin sports you may have missed this past week. All before you even finish your breakfast. It's Wisconsin Sports Weekend, brought to you by the Apollo Cafe on Brady Street. 25 years of Greek tradition. Enjoy gyros, souvlaki, fresh salads, and the legendary Zeus burger. Dine in, take out, or get it delivered. Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar of flavor, on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
How we doing, folks? How we doing? Like the big voice lady just said, it is Wisconsin Sports Weekend live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And we are presented by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar of flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. I am Charlie Uczen. That is not Jack Pembroke on the other side of the glass there. That is my guy, Tommy Wortz. Tommy, how are you doing today, my man?
Yeah, I know. Some people probably like, whoa, Jack just totally let himself go this week. But yeah, here back on a Saturday, back with the old crew, how we started doing this show, and excited to be here. I am a little upset. I went out yesterday for the first time in a while. I was inspired by you coming on just totally drunk yesterday.
Blacked out, right?
Not true, but that was where everyone went after Charlie's birthday celebration. And the pull tab machine was broken at the bar.
So you just left, right?
Yeah, I was not thrilled. I was milking the rest. I think I might have had like 2 beers the entire time there because of it. I was just really upset. I wanted to throw $20 in, and I could not. So yeah, I think that should be something that you seriously consider if you are going to a bar and the pull tab machine is broken. Was it really worth going to that bar? So that was my night last night. What about you?
My night consisted of playing a board game.
Nice.
And relaxing, got some pizza. It was
like
a
a common board game?
No, it was a murder mystery board game.
It's Clue.
No, not like, I guess kind of, but like you got a box full of just like items. Like it would give you like police reports and like a little lockbox that you had to figure out. It's like an escape room in a box. It was kind of
live PD meets Clue.
Basically, yeah. I felt like a detective. We got the answer wrong at the end. We were so confident that we got it wrong. They gave me like a little envelope, but it is Wisconsin Sports Weekend. And we are going to dive into all the great things happening across the state of Wisconsin this weekend, even the bad things that are happening, because we're going to start with talking about the Wisconsin Badgers and how you will be watching them for the rest of the season. At 9:20, we're going to dive into the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis has been playing at an MVP-type level. We want to know what you think the ceiling of this team is right now. At 9:40, we're going to dive into your expectations for Packers versus Steelers this Sunday. There's a lot of storylines going along with this game, so we want to know what you're thinking, how you're feeling, how confident you're feeling. At 10 o'clock, when we flip over to the second hour of our show here, we're going to discuss Jordan Love and his MVP candidacy, and if you feel like he's at that level yet. At 10:20, we're going to have our guy, Jack Pembroke, call on in for Warlocks Locks, help us out with that. We're going with basketball this week. If you've been paying attention to Warlocks Locks, it's been all football, so we wanted to switch it up with the start of the NBA season coming along here. And as always, we will finish off the show with the Wisconsin Sports Weekend Pub Crawl. If at any point you want to get in on the show, we are on social media at WI Sports Radio. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and live streaming on YouTube currently. You can see our beautiful faces over there. If you want to head over there, hop in the comment section. I know our guys Nick, Q are always hanging out in the comments, so join them out there in the dugout. You can also hit us up on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line 414-677-1250. Again, 414-677-1250, 1250 to get in on the show that way. Let's go back to what I said we were going to start the show off with. We're going to get all the bad juju off of our plate right away, Tommy. I think that is the best decision here.
Okay.
We're going to discuss the Wisconsin Badgers a little bit here. Through the first, half of the season, over half of the season at this point, Tommy, what is your reaction to what you've seen on the football field for this Wisconsin Badgers team?
It's not FCC friendly, usually. That's where I go with this Badger team. It's just sad. Like, that's actually the first thoughts is that they don't even show jump around on television anymore, right? Like, that is something that at least Wisconsin had this entire time. And I know that there's some polarizing people on this where you might say like that they just haven't had the right luck the last 3 years, but this was very predictable all season. And I had said this after the Miami of Ohio victory when it was 17-0. If you watch that game, you just knew that this team wasn't very special in any way. At least there was nothing that jumped off in that game for Wisconsin. And I had even claimed it on Twitter. You can follow me, Tommy WSSP, to prove it. Like, who do they beat in this conference after that game? You just saw the writing was on the wall in that first game of the season, and the conference play has been gross. I mean, just they are now competing for one of the worst Power 4 programs in the country, it sounds like. Not just being at the bottom of the Big Ten, but they do not have a Power 4 victory this season. Them and Penn State are two teams that everyone kind of thought probably would be a little more competitive. But you're talking about a 17-0 victory over Miami of Ohio. Middle Tennessee, they beat 42-10. And then every game after that has just been not competitive. And that's really the problem as well with Wisconsin, that every time you watch this game, it is me just wanting to get angry. Like, I just want to watch the team and reminisce on what it was. They have 6 passing touchdowns this year to the 9 interceptions they have thrown. They have 5 rushing touchdowns this year. Dylan Jones has 2. He's been out a little bit. Cade Yakimelli doesn't even have one this year. Darian Dupree, again, been banged up. The team they have no identity. They have no heart. And there's a big comment on Luke Fickell, right? What he has done with the program, but he pretty much said, like, don't blame the players, but these guys are getting paid now too. So it feels like that there is some opportunity to at least call out players and call out the team when they're not playing at their best, Chuck.
But how do you go about blaming the players in a situation like this, or having them take more credit when nobody else is really blaming the players or anything? Like, Luke Fickell's right. Nobody else is going at the team, really. It's all about the coaching staff. It's all about the front office of this school and how they're running this program right now. And it doesn't feel like really any other school in the country is going through the same issue. So it's hard to kind of want to say, you know what, the players just need to play harder, when it's kind of hard to play harder when you're just not getting paid the same. You don't have the same talent around you. It's frustrating. You can be a really good player. You can be one of the best offensive linemen in the country, which the Badgers have in there.
Bruner, yeah.
And I think when you have 4 other guys next to you who aren't doing their jobs well enough, you can do your job as much as you want. You can play as hard as you want. You can yell at those guys to do their jobs, but it's just not going to change that. When you need help from the school's president, when you need help from the AD, when you need help from the coaching staff, and it feels like you're just not getting that, I don't know how you can turn to the players and say, just play harder, you know?
Yeah, and I think that it's year 3, so that's why you can point to administration and coaching a little bit more. But quite frankly, the personnel being brought in is the problem, right? Like, the problem is that they are either not developing the personnel or recruiting the correct personnel. The common denominator is personnel. So I feel like there is some accountability that needs to be taken on for these players as well. This is now the 3rd year the Badgers electing to go to the transfer portal to bring in their quarterback. It is the 3rd year. It has been an underwhelming performance from their transfer portal quarterback. They've been plagued with injuries as well during that time. Totally understood. But at what point Carter Smith is this, like, a freshman prospect that everyone was excited about, that he comes in, and all accounts he's either a low 4-star, high 3-star in his recruiting wave. He's not going to make it. And I think Sparky's brought it up because I've brought this conversation up to him. This is now a repeating process of, you do not just have to recruit your personnel on a year-to-year basis. You have to recruit your team on a year-to-year basis. And if I'm Carter Smith, if I don't get that job next year in Madison, I'm out. I'm gone. It doesn't make any sense to stick around. There's no promise towards the future right now with this Badger team. They've just been completely abysmal on the offensive side. And why not play? Alabama got Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State, right? I understand these are generational type prospects.
Julian Sayin, their starting quarterback, is a freshman, a redshirt freshman.
You got to find your fit. You got to find your guy that you recruited, that you believe in. And it felt like Billy Edwards could have been that guy. Hunter Simmons is not that guy, in my
They're
opinion.
just throwing him out there to get beat up, man. That's basically
I don't think they believe in Hunter Simmons at all.
No.
I mean,
it's to take
it is.
That's what they do.
It is what is the opposite of human victory cigar? It's like the loser cigarette, like that they're throwing out there.
The burning bag of poop that somebody puts on a doorstep.
The down bad cigarette. It's the down bad cigarette instead of a victory cigar. Like that's what they're doing. When they throw Hunter Simmons out there, there's no shot they believe they can win a football game. And the spread today, over 30 points against Oregon. I can't imagine this is going to be anywhere close in a game at all. I heard the weather is going to be a little bit shaky during the game, but we make our weekly picks on the Mason Crosby Show, and all of us picking Oregon to cover 31.5. That's the faith that this Badger team has right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is Wisconsin Sports Weekend, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We are asking you, if you head over to Twitter at WI Sports Radio, are you love watching this team? Are you hate watching this team? Are you just not watching this team anymore for the rest of the season? It's a poll question. I have it up. I put it up before the show. I'll give you an update on how it's looking right now.
I will say this. What I am encouraged with
is
that all of our poo-pooing of Wisconsin football has brought in a lot of people to talk about and listen to Wisconsin football topics now here. This is a state that does care more than people give it credit for. This is not necessarily your LSUs, your Alabamas, where it's all they have, but this is a major deal. College sports is a major deal in the program, in the state of Wisconsin. And this program right now is unserious. It is not competitive at all. And that's the problem. You're looking at the rest of the Big Ten right here. And there are teams that Wisconsin was traditionally just miles ahead of. It felt
Maryland,
like.
Maybe like a school like Maryland.
Well, you put everyone in front of them because the Badgers are technically an 18th of the Big Ten right now.
I mean historically,
yeah,
you know.
Yes, but on top of it, like you're looking at programs in the NIL era doing Iowa 5-2, 3-1 in conference play. Northwestern 5-2, 3-1 in conference play. Minnesota 5-2, 3-1 in conference play. Hell, Indiana is the number 2 team in the country. This is one of the worst college football programs in the history of the sport that figured it out during this NIL era way faster than the University of Wisconsin did, and it's just completely unacceptable in my mind, Charles.
I mean, Purdue's still bad, right? We could hang
not
out
worse than the Badgers. Not worse than the Badgers, unfortunately.
Can't even rely on Purdue to
they do stink as well. Until the Badgers average more than 10 points a game in conference play, like you should be mad at the players.
Realistically, they're about to get shut out for a third straight game, right? Like that's what we
I don't know if that's
with expectations here.
Gosh, the expectations is put points on the board against Oregon. They haven't scored a touchdown in 11 quarters right now. It's since they were in the big house that first drive. Damn, I was feeling good after that first drive.
I was like,
in the big house.
Game.
And then it wasn't close after that. And now, like you said, back-to-back weeks being shut out by just, Ohio State, who totally didn't want to even be in Madison because they were like way too good for that school. And then again against Iowa in a very embarrassing game. I would be over under at 3.5. What do you like in that one? Like if that's what the Badgers point total is, because maybe they get a field goal, but do they get more than one field goal?
I mean, that's something where you have to say over, right? But like at the same time, what I've seen is that they can't move the ball 1 inch.
Our guy Mitch Nellis commenting in the dugout, what gives you any confidence they can score today? No, I don't have any. And especially we don't even know who the quarterback's going to be. It's probably going to be Hunter Simmons. It could be Danny O'Neal for like 8 plays.
Wortz,
yeah, like it's so lame. It's hard. But it's like a car crash. Like you have to watch to see how bad it is, and it will make that moment a little bit sweeter if they do get out of it. But there is not a light at the end of the tunnel by any means when talking about Badger football for me.
Does not seem like it. Again, let's head over to that poll at WI Sports Radio on Twitter. We have love watching, hate watching, not watching. Right now, after 26 votes, most people are just not watching this Badgers team. 34% of the votes, that not watching was 53%. 34% are hate watching this team. If you guys don't know what hate watching is, it's watching, hoping that there's some kind of downfall for this team. Tommy, are you at the point here where Luke Fickell needs to be gone. Chris McIntosh needs to be gone because there's a lot of fans. We were talking about this for the past week on Wisconsin Sports Daily from 2 to 5 right here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Sparky Pfeiffer, that like the people are just done with whatever's going on here. They'd rather full on restart this program at this point than keep trying to give these guys opportunities.
Well, and with the correct people, you can do that in college football now. Looking at Texas Tech this season, SMU last season, right? I know these are schools with money, and the Badgers are poor apparently now, which I just don't believe. I don't believe it. I would love to see the facts that they are poor.
I've been on that campus a few times, man.
Yeah, they are not poor. I promise you they are not. They are completely lost in their allocation of funds. There's $170 million budget in the athletic departments of the University of Wisconsin. Greg Gard is a coach who transitioned from the non-NIL era into the NIL era with his limited resources at a sport that is second to football at this university, and he has consistently made this team competitive. They are ranked in the preseason top 25 this season, and I think that all signs point to them being a little bit of an underdog dark horse all throughout this season too in the Big Ten and in the national landscape of college basketball. This Wisconsin program, I think personally, what they have to do is they have to try to justify that they are poor. So I do believe that this is not going to be a buyout situation with Luke Fickell this season because of the amount of money it is then owed. Could you imagine if they fire him mid-season, say, oh, it's because we're poor, and then they pay him $40 million just to not step on campus? Like, so they have to double down on that and find a way to make it through the end of the season, which I believe it then goes down to $25 million, which again, still is not a great argument for, yeah, we're poor, but we're paying this guy $25 million. I honestly, like, it has to change with him. It is actually like, just, it doesn't make any sense as to why you would continue to rock with this guy during this program's fate right now. Luke Fickell is an under 500 head coach as the coach of the Wisconsin Badgers. They didn't make a bowl game last year for the first time in the since this turn of the century, and then on top of it, they're not going to do it this year again. And it's going to be quite ugly to see what this Badger team could evolve to be. It's not, I don't know how they win a conference game. It's Oregon, Washington, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota.
And I don't feel confident about a single one of those games.
Not a single one of those games. And I just want to say I had to beat first. I knew they weren't going to win a conference game after that Miami of Ohio game.
I was feeling good. I predicted the first 4 games of the season. I was like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. And then it just went downhill from there.
Well, and Maryland was really the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Like the 38-14 Alabama, it's like, okay, nice. We almost covered the spread.
Stayed in there for a point, you know.
Wisconsin, I believe, was favored over Maryland in that game, and I was calling it out from the I believe I picked Wisconsin that week on our weekly picks, and once they burned me in that game, I was like, this is not going to happen. They're done. They are good as over. Their schedule is brutal this year. And next year, you know, they keep claiming, oh, it's a way easier schedule. It's actually the same teams they keep losing to this year. So I don't know where you find easier out of that schedule at all.
Nope. It's going to be brutal. And next year when they lose the worst teams, and like everybody's talking about, oh, it's going to be so much better. They'll get back. No, they're going to lose to the same opponents, like you're saying, and it's just going to be so sad.
And on top of it, this is also a program that is going to be behind on that next search because ultimately, Luke Fickell's days are numbered. Whether it is this year, whether he gets through next year even, I don't see a scenario in which he gets through next season after the season. I don't think he's here. Maybe he does coach in 2026 a little bit, but I don't know how he would be able to coach in 2027 based on what we've seen out of him. And they're just going to be behind on it. You know, these other schools that are struggling, Penn State, coach is gone. Oklahoma State, coach is gone. Florida, coach is gone.
None of those schools are pretending to be poor.
Right.
That's
right.
The difference.
They are pretending to be poor right now, the University of Wisconsin. And on top of it, just completely inept.
Yeah, it's really just kind of unfortunate to watch this season. I had higher hopes. I know that I shouldn't have. I know Tommy was right from the beginning that I shouldn't believe in this team. At the same time, it felt like there was going to be something that people were starting to buy into Luke Fickell a little bit in the offseason, and now you're just seeing that nobody is. Not a single person is.
If they get another transfer portal quarterback next year, I might rip my eyes out. Like that, I'm just so over it. Or instead, like, bring in that Carson back or something. Bring in that Nico. I know UCLA, it looked rough at the beginning. They've turned it around since they also, would you know, fired their head coach.
Oh,
like,
crazy.
Same exact deal where you are just setting yourself back if you do not make this decision now. And Chris McIntosh pretty much came out and said he wasn't going to make that decision. Sounds like you're going to be on the chopping block too.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you have to come out as the boss of this guy and say that we're not doing anything, don't worry about it, that means that guy's getting fired too.
Right.
Like, that's usually what that means to me.
And what I really think is going to happen is that the percent of enrollment will decrease. Not to say that they will, not have people applying to the university, but like they're going to have less people applying to the university than they always do, because football is a massive money generator and a huge part of what prompts people to go to school. I brought that number up of TCU showing the increase after the national championship run. It's absolutely a part of a college experience to go to the football game, right? And people are going to not want to go there, and they're going to find less money coming into it because of that. Even if it's just on $50 application fees, there will be a significant amount less if the University of Wisconsin football program continues to go in this direction.
It is Wisconsin Sports Weekend, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and we are presented by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. When we come back, we will discuss Giannis Antetokounmpo dominating once again against the Toronto Raptors last night, leading the Bucks to a 2-0 record to start the season. And we want to know what the ceiling of this team is. If you want to get in on the show, call 414-677-1250. Again, 414-677-1250 to get on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. And also hit us up on social media at WI Sports Radio, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all on there. We are live streaming on there. I'm Charlie Uczen. That is Tommy Wortz. We will be right back. Welcome back into Wisconsin Sports Weekend, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and we are presented by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. I've been liking the 9 to noon bumpers way more than the Sparky bumpers.
Yeah, I mean, he was singing yesterday when I walked out. I was in the studio yesterday, and there was another song. It wasn't What's Going On. It was something else that he likes.
You showed me his playlist.
Sparky did?
It's very eclectic.
Is it like 12 songs?
No, it's actually like...
How many Christmas songs?
I didn't see any Christmas songs.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think he has a whole playlist for Christmas music.
Okay,
actually.
all right. He listens to that from October 1st to May 1st, probably.
There's a little country in there, a little like 90s rap. I was surprised.
Sparky does not have 90s
He
rap.
had some 90s, yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Well, respect the game, Steven. Respect the game.
If we head over to the Nicolay Law Talking text line, text part of it, the 414 says, "Let me sum up my future Badger watching habits in 2 words. Hell no. I've seen a lot of bad football in my time, and I just can't do it. I can't stomach bad with heart, I can stomach bad with heart, but bad with no heart, no way."
Yeah.
I do like Charlie and Tommy on air together again. We need more of that.
Yeah, I mean, doing my best here. It's a great point, right? I mean, you're looking at just this the exact tweet that I had sent out after that Miami of Ohio game. I said 3 things. I'm legit worried about Danny O'Neal's health when the Badgers play Bama. He didn't even make it through the game, so that was all over it. And that Hunter Simmons is now the quarterback. Adam Trick was the best player on the field, regardless of the result. Adam Trick being that edge rusher during that Miami of Ohio game that just absolutely torched the Badgers the entire time. He is currently 5.5 sacks, a forced fumble, an interception. He was the highest graded player in the country in week 5 a couple of weeks ago, according to PFF. And the final one was, who does this team beat in this conference? And there's 5 games left, and there's no one they beat in this conference, it feels like right now. So yeah, this Badger football team, I've seen a lot of good product. I've seen a lot of terrible product. I've never seen the bedrock that is this right now.
Right. I think that is the best way to describe it. The bedrock that is this. If you guys still want to answer that question, are you love watching, hate watching, or just not watching the Wisconsin Badgers for the rest of the season? You can hit us up at WI Sports Radio on Twitter, where we have a poll up there. You can vote on that to get in on the conversation there. We did want to move on over to the Milwaukee Bucks, who last night took down the Toronto Raptors in a game that I kind of felt like was a lot closer for a majority of that game than it probably should have been, Tommy. I mean,
I don't know.
You don't think so?
Bucks were underdogs in the game.
That's just crazy.
I know. I'm telling you, I think that this Bucks team is slept on. Actually, the Bucks were 1-point dogs, I believe, 1.5-point dogs, according to the Potawatomi Sportsbook in that game. And I think that this team is actually sneaky fun. I don't really love their chances against Cleveland coming up tomorrow, but I think that this team, when it is clicking on all cylinders and when Giannis Antetokounmpo is on the floor, it's a fun team. I don't hate it.
So what happens when Giannis isn't on the floor?
Yeah, that's when things go a little bit sideways. I like the bench, but again, I like the bench complementary pieces as opposed to the I think that the bench does have depth. I really do. I like Kuz coming off the bench. I like Bobby coming off the bench, even though it hasn't been like that necessarily early in the season. Ryan Rollins is going to be into the starting lineup now, so he'll not be a bench option necessarily anymore. But Taurean Prince, I like what they do. Cole Anthony, monster game yesterday off the bench. I think that this team is sneaky fun. I just think it's fun right now. I don't think it's a championship caliber roster necessarily, but I think top 4 in the East is very much in the grasp of this Milwaukee Bucks team this future.
Well, and I think in basketball, more so than some of these other sports, fun kind of carries you a little while.
Oh, yeah.
Indiana Pacers got to the NBA Finals off of being fun for the most part. They really just took the energy away from other teams. So if you can learn how to kind of control the pace of a game like that they did, if you can learn how to, again, just sap the energy from your opponents, you can win a lot of basketball games that way. And I think what you brought up, again, is that with this unit, without Giannis on the court, you get a little bit worried about what they can be. at the same time, in the first game and not as much in this game, I think you saw him still be a semi-aggressive and not taking as many three-point shots. But Kyle Kuzma, I think, really has that same kind of build as a younger Giannis when he was first coming into this league. And because of that, I think he can be developed still into a player that can play a semi-Giannis role when Giannis is not on the court. He's lanky enough to play that style of help defense. He's quick enough and athletic enough to be able to drive the rim as much as Giannis does. And I think that what I'm seeing from this Milwaukee Bucks team is they're starting to figure out this plan that I don't think they've had for the past 2 seasons. When you have Dame and Giannis, that is the plan. You just hope that it works out, basically, and that 2 of the greatest players of all time can go out there and just make something happen. But what I also saw was that the team was dissected in half every time Giannis and Dame were playing a game together. They were either playing Giannis' style of basketball or Dame's style of basketball, depending on who had the ball in their hands. And a bunch of young players just cannot figure out how to play a consistent style of basketball when that is the options you are given. Right now, it's Giannis's team, Giannis's ball. We're playing Giannis's style of basketball. Makes it real easy for everybody to follow along and follow suit.
But I think they added a lot of great complementary pieces, and they've constructed the lineup like around Giannis. They're averaging, through the first 2 games only, it's 16 threes made a game. But this is a team that is going to rush the floor. They're faster. They're a way more fun team. They have a much better pace than they did in the past. And quite frankly, Chuck, how are you with the 3-guard lineup? I think it's fun. I think that it will suffer on the defensive side eventually, but to go out there with just surrounding Giannis with shooters, I think it's actually the best recipe for this team. And it is showing that this Bucks team is trying to get with today's time of the NBA too. Sparky complaining about, this team's going to be, just chucking up threes, and it's going to be, I don't like that style of basketball. But that's the style of the NBA now, Charles.
It's the style of the NBA right now, but what we're also seeing is teams just kind of starting to cycle back to what it was as well. So I think, yes, the Bucks are starting to get to that point of a more modern style basketball, but you're also seeing a lot of teams run these big lineups, not the small lineups that we've been seeing, but like down in Houston, they're running Steven Adams and Sengun next to each other in most of these sets. You see in New York, they were doing that a little bit too. Some of the Oklahoma City does that with Chet Holmgren and Hartenstein a lot. They'll put both those players out there. So yes, the Bucks are starting to get to the style, but other teams are already starting to adapt again. So how long will it take for the Bucks to adapt again now if it took them what feels like this long to kind of to adapt to what we're seeing in the NBA? And I'm not saying they were a bad 3-point shooting team when they won a championship. They were doing it at a high rate. They were playing defense at a high rate. They were at kind of where the NBA was at during that time. Just now it's transitioned more to this team style of basketball where everybody kind of has to do a little bit of everything. And I feel like with a 3-guard lineup out on that court, you're not going to be able to see them do that for a majority of games where they're playing teams that are equal or better than them.
Well, and looking back at, I don't want to compare this team necessarily dead on to him, but Golden State used to run out small lineups when they were successful before Kevin Durant, and this team is trying to do something I think similar to that, of just really increase the pace of the game and chuck up as many threes as you possibly can. I love what Gary Trent's done so far this year. AJ Green, I have a prediction that he could just be, by the end of his contract, the most made threes in Bucks history based on what he can do. And I think that everyone's excited about whoever is playing point guard, whether it is Rollins or it is Cole Anthony or KPJ when he does come back. Like, this team got really deep in the backcourt. And unfortunately, that does mean that they are kind of thin in the front court, and they have to rely on Giannis to be Superman, which they already knew they were going to have to do this year, Charlie.
But I also feel like, to that same point, they have a lot of players in that kind of extra depth, that end of the bench space, that are valuable to other teams. And if you do need to go out and find a player that needs to play front court minutes for you eventually, somebody that can just stand there, get rebounds, get blocks for 10 minutes a game, you can trade a Jericho Sims or a Gary Harris or Andre Jackson Jr. to get that. I think that's the value of having those types of guys in that unit, because they're all could be useful to teams like Houston, like I was talking about before, who may have a little bit of a stronger depth to that big man lineup.
They need one more big. They do need one more big.
And I think you have the pieces to go and get one.
Yeah, they need one more big. I don't think Bobby can play bench 5. He's probably better at bench 4. And Jericho Sims is
No.
literally a bull in a china shop.
I
mean,
love Jericho, man. I tried to hype him up last season when they traded for him.
Well, he plays like a football player.
Right.
He plays basketball like a football player. That's why you love him. Like he's just absolutely so intense. He brings a great energy, but it is that guy who is committing more fouls than he is doing anything else. And he can jump out of the gym. If he can be valuable on the rebounding side of things, that would be great. But he hasn't recorded a rebound yet this season in his 2 minutes of work. He's not going to get a lot of time. He has that potential, I think, but it doesn't seem like he's going to see the time of day to do it.
I think at this point, with the build of this team,
what about Andre Jackson? Can they move on from him?
That's what I was
like. Does he have value?
Gary Harris has value. I would assume he has a resume in the league. Like, these are all guys that I think are able to be moved on from for the Milwaukee Bucks. It's just about what you want in return. I think at this point here, yes, it's a younger team overall than what we've seen in the past few years, but I don't think that also means you just want to keep piling up these young players and never play them again like a Tyler Smith. I think if you're going to trade those guys, it has to be for a veteran center that it has been around, is, again, able to do the two things that you need him to do: rebound and block when Giannis can't be on the court.
And at what point do you think this Bucks team needs to consider those moves, right? We're still very early in the year, but let's say at the All-Star, like when is the deadline? Is it like a little after the All-Star break? I'm not really sure when it is off the top of my head, but let's just say January 15th, right? January 15th, the Bucks have a top 3 record.
February 6th.
So I think it's actually probably before the All-Star break then. So let's say by January 15th, the Bucks have like the 3rd best record in the East. Like, is it enough to like go make a move? Is that enough to like say you have to be active? Because quite frankly, like, this Bucks team can be as exciting as they want to be in the East. The West is just way better. I mean, the West is it worth moving on pieces to try? If you can get something for the future, I guess do it. But I would be very shocked if a team out of the West isn't. There might be 4 teams in the West better than the Cavs right now.
I would be with you on that. I think. Looking at the East this season, after this year, the Bucks will not have an easier chance to win the East. Like, you can go out there and make it to the NBA Finals this year because you have Giannis, basically. After this year, the Pacers get Tyrese Halliburton back. After this year, Jason Tatum comes back to the Celtics. He's already feeling pretty good. He says he could come back maybe at the end of this season. So these are the types of things that I think you look at these other teams and say, this is the perfect time to grab that. And if you are sitting at the 3rd seed, I think if you're sitting at the 5th seed, go and you have a guaranteed playoff spot, go and try to make a move in order to help this team out a little bit. Again, Giannis keeps talking about each season that, he reevaluates his decisions in the offseason, which is something that I personally don't have a problem with. I think somebody that of his caliber should be able to do that and should be able to be open about that. So if he's going to keep doing that, then you as the front office, you as John Horst, have to go out there and say, you know what? This has got to be a year we have to try to win. Every year has to be a year we try to win. And if you have that opportunity, you got to go for it.
Who has a better chance this year of winning MVP? Giannis Antetokounmpo or Victor Wembanyama?
Wembanyama.
Really? You think so?
I think if the Spurs can somehow get like a top 6 seed
if
in the
both
West,
teams are the same playoff seed, if they're both the 5 seed,
the Spurs and
yeah,
Victor, I think the NBA loves Victor Wembanyama, man. Everybody's talking about how he's already one of the top 5 players in the NBA, which he is.
Can you blame him? I mean, he's nasty. He just had 9 blocks yesterday in his game. It's almost a triple-double of 29.
With how many 3-pointers shot?
Yeah. God. Yeah. I mean,
for a guy who's 7'2" or
7'5".
7'5".
Yeah. I mean,
he grew an inch.
Grew an inch. Yeah, which is just disgusting that he's able to grow still. That's how young he is. But you're looking at a guy who went 40 and 15 in game 1, and then he drops a near triple-double with 9 blocks in his last game. I think that Giannis and Wemby are separating themselves as 2 of the bigger freaks in the league, and I think that there will be a lot of narrative around that with Wemby, and that's why I wanted to gauge your interest in that, because I do think that we should go look. Okay, let me look. Betting odds courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. If Wemby is like 20-1 to win MVP this year, I think that's a worth it bet, because he's so electric right now.
Well, the only thing stopping him is injuries. So as long as he can stay on the court, I think he's got it, basically. At least defensive player of the year.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like I got only I thought maybe they put them out later. They have some of the other awards up here, but I can't find the MVP. Oh yeah, I can. Yes, I can. Dude, Wemby's at plus 350. Like Giannis is at plus 1200. Wemby has the exact same odds as Jokic right now, and the only guy higher than them is Shea at plus 175. So I 20 to 1 was probably crazy odds to say out loud. But
Still.
I could have thought maybe I could have seen him at like definitely over 10 to 1 odds there. And no, you're getting 3 to 1 on Wemby.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, go put your money down. That's what I gotta say about that.
He could. I really believe it. Although Giannis at plus 1200 seems like a great bet too.
Right.
Like that feels pretty confident that he could be in the conversation and make it interesting at least. But Wembanyama and Giannis maybe off to two of the best starts. Although Aaron Gordon dropped 50, so what do I know?
On
like,
one of the most efficient 50 points of like history.
Yeah.
It was kind of insane.
Yeah, he's like that. He's like that, I guess. Not just a dunk champ or not dunk champ.
Yeah, exactly. Almost dunk champ.
Almost dunk champ.
It is Wisconsin Sports Weekend live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and we are presented by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. When we come back, we're going to dive into expectations about the Green Bay Packers and Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend real quick for you guys. But stay tuned to that dial. Get in on the show, 414-677-1250. Again, 414-677-1250, 1250 to get in on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. It is Wisconsin Sports Weekend. We will be right back. It is Wisconsin Sports Weekend live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. I am Charlie Uczen. That's Tommy Wortz on the other side of the glass. Busted a move over there, dude. Get us on a dance floor, dude.
I mean, just yesterday, like me, Mitch Nellis, Mason Crosby dancing in on a bumper, and it was like, dude, this is like right after the Brewers won. Like this is just three white dudes just dancing in a clubhouse. Like that's what it was yesterday. So yeah, I danced a little bit.
It is Wisconsin Sports Weekend live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and we are presented by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar of flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. We do have a little bit of time here, so we want to dive into expectations for the Green Bay Packers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday night. Tommy, just between the two quarterbacks in this game, Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, what are your expectations for those two guys?
Yeah, I think that it's going to be a fun duel to watch, and I it's very conflicting as a fan. I love watching Green Bay Packer football week in and week out, but there's just something about Aaron Rodgers, man, that I'll never get over, and he'll be my guy for forever. And I hope that if it's not Green Bay winning the Super Bowl at the end of the season, it is Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, based on what he did for me as a football fan my entire life. But you got to think that those are the two guys on the headlines here, right? Jordan Love's been playing at a much higher level. Aaron Rodgers playing at a much higher level than he was the last 2 years. Like, this is the exciting part of the game. You want to see Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love go toe-to-toe this entire game. I think that there's probably two much stronger defenses than offenses going at it, though, together, and it could lead to be maybe not as exciting of a game on the offensive side. But I would be thrilled if both quarterbacks go out for 303 or something during this game. That would be awesome. My expectations, though, is that the Green Bay Packers actually probably an easier game in my mind than most people think.
After Green Bay plays in Pittsburgh tomorrow night, make the switch to the Green Bay Football Postgame Show, powered by Lakeland University. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer and our guy Tommy Wortz over there will welcome your calls and texts after the game tomorrow night on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. In this game, I have almost like too high expectations for a Jordan Love. I think I'm going in hoping that he just dominates in this one. If I'm a Packers fan, I'm somebody that wants to see Jordan Love succeed. And I think the best way to see him succeed is do it against the guy that everybody consistently compares him to. I think that is the easiest way to go out there and just beat Aaron Rodgers. And I think Aaron Rodgers is a guy who's kind of overachieved the season almost a little bit in Pittsburgh. This is a game to kind of humble him a little bit and, make him go into retirement, Tommy. I think the Packers come out and they win this game. I said 28-24 yesterday. I think I'm going to get a little more confident. I think I'm going to change it a little bit. I think I'm going to say 28-14.
I think I did 27-13, I think, on the show yesterday or 2 days ago. Yeah, there's something about me, though, like, kind of want Aaron to throw a Hail Mary.
Just one.
I want to get hurt by one. Like after all of the great ones that he did for me, I kind of want to feel the pain of one against me with him. That just a little bit. That's just a little bit of a masochist over there. A little sick freak I am on football, I guess. Yeah.
It is Wisconsin Sports Weekend live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Charlie Uczen and Tommy Wortz, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We will be right back after this next break.
Hit the shower. Grab your coffee. And get ready to attack the weekend with Charlie Uczen and Jack Pembroke as they catch you up on everything Wisconsin sports you may have missed this past week. All before you even finish your breakfast. It's Wisconsin Sports Weekend, brought to you by the Apollo Cafe on Brady Street. 25 years of Greek tradition. Enjoy gyros, souvlaki, fresh salads, and the legendary Zeus burger. Dine in, take out, or get it delivered. Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar of flavor, on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
This is Wisconsin Sports Weekend. How we doing, folks? How we doing? I am Charlie Uczen. That is Tommy Wortz on the other side of the glass there, not Jack Pembroke, but he will join us in about 20 minutes to do his Warlocks Locks with us, so stay tuned for that at 10:20. 10:40, we got our Wisconsin Sports Weekend pub crawl. And at 10 o'clock here, we're going to start off talking Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers and whether or not you feel like he's reached that MVP contendership. We will dive into that, but we are on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and we are also presented by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. Tommy, this game, we were talking about expectations for it before we hopped into the break there, and we were talking about Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers specifically. Jordan Love throughout this season, do you feel like he's played to that MVP level, and do you feel like Aaron Rodgers over on Pittsburgh side of things has also kind of put himself into that discussion at this point?
Yeah, I think actually that's probably a fair statement that both guys are in contention to get into contention of the MVP race. I think for the first time, if I was a voter, like in a while, I wouldn't be voting for a quarterback. I'd be voting for Jonathan Taylor as the MVP.
Bijan Robinson, maybe. He's been on fire too.
Both have been awesome. Taylor right now is on pace for 26 touchdowns if he continues this pace. And if he gets to that number, that's the MVP. I'm sorry. You can't put up.
That's the Wisconsin football I want to watch right now.
Instead, right. So I think that's where my brain goes at first with it. But Jordan Love has been maybe, dare I say, the most impressive part of this now I'm thinking Badgers, but this Packers football team this year in my mind. I think his growth has really been shown throughout this season that he is becoming a pretty valuable piece of this team. He is making elite level throws. He is ready to take another step in my mind. I think he has taken that step. He's got a 108 quarterback rating, 10 touchdowns, 2 picks this year for Jordan Love. He has lost a football game. I will recognize that. However, he lost the Cleveland game. I will give that to him. I will say that that's something that people can't seem to get over, it feels like, although week in and week out, looks like that Cleveland loss a little bit better than maybe people gave it credit for at first, and that Bengals win a little bit better than people gave it credit for as well in the moment with what they're doing right now. I think that this team, Jordan Love, he is at some points the only piece of the offense that seems to be on, right? And whether it's him making a throw that needs to be made, or he's the guy running to scramble to make sure that it's always going forward, I don't think he's been very loose with the football. I think his turnovers have been, he lost the game with the interception in Cleveland, but he knew mid-throw, damn, shouldn't be making this throw, and he still did.
We'll say he has had a few more throws this season that probably should have been interceptions, maybe in each of the games that they've played so far.
Maybe, but I also will say that I think I've seen him make some of his best throws this year. That 4th down throw in Arizona, that was an awesome throw. I think he's made some really great plays with his legs this year as well that we haven't seen in the past. I do see the growth happening with Jordan Love, and I think that gives me a lot of optimism on, because ultimately that is the NFL, right? As good as your quarterback is, pretty much, is how far you can go. And right now it feels like Christian Watson going to be active for the Pittsburgh game. They just cut Ben Sims and activated Christian Watson onto the active roster. So now he'll have another weapon to toy around with. He's 7th in QBR in the NFL right now. And to go to your other side with Aaron Rodgers, I'm actually rooting for him to get to that number 3 spot on the all-time touchdown list, because I think that was something that would have been a little far-fetched for him to do. But now, currently this season, Aaron Rodgers, he's been having one of his better years since leaving the Green Bay Packers. He does have, I believe, 14 touchdowns.
14 touchdowns. So 1270 in the yards, 14 touchdowns to 5 interceptions with a 68% completion percentage.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the most efficient Aaron Rodgers season, but I do think that it is a little bit of Aaron just like leaving it all out on the field one last time, a little bit, right? Take that chance. He's made his money. He's not getting paid a boatload this year, and his Steelers team is still competitive this season, game in and game out. I believe on the all-time list, he's chasing Peyton Manning, who has 539 total touchdowns. And Aaron, what's you have it in front of you there? I have it where it was, I believe he needed 5 to pass Brett Favre this year, and that was at like 506. Now he has 9 more, 514. Does he?
Aaron Rodgers is sitting at 517 right now.
So he needs 22 more touchdowns, right?
Which I think he can get.
Totally doable now, it feels like. So I would think that's awesome if he gets to that number, and it's going to come with a couple in this game probably. It's going to need to have a couple in this game. And he's going to be 42 in December. Like, this is a guy who just leaving it all out there. And I know maybe some people are sick of it, and there is some polarizing opinions about Aaron Rodgers, but I would love it if it's Aaron and Jordan going toe to toe for the MVP this season.
It is Wisconsin Sports Weekend, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, and we're very proud to be on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with our guys out there in Green Bay at 99.7 FM WNFL, in Wausau 93.9 The Game, 710 The Game in Duluth and Superior, and then us 12:50 a.m. and 105.7 FM The Fan in Milwaukee. Make sure to go follow us on social media, again at WI Sports Radio, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You can answer the question that we have right now for you guys. Do you think Jordan Love has played to an MVP caliber level so far this season? And if not, is this a game where you think he can put his name into that discussion? With Jordan Love this season, I think one of the biggest things that I've noticed, not just with him, but with the offense for the Green Bay Packers, is how volatile they can be at points. There's sometimes where they look like the best offense in the entire league, where they look like the well-oiled machine. Everybody's getting involved. Everybody's doing their job. And there's other times where it feels like it's 2 to 3 series of just 3 and outs, where it is unimaginative. Guys aren't making their blocks when they should be. Guys aren't catching the ball when they should be. It feels like they're just relapsing into kind of some of those moments we had last season, especially towards the end of the year. And then you add on the penalties with this offense as well. I think with Jordan Love, he's playing well through all of those kinds of issues. At the same time, you mentioned it before, it kind of feels like the rest of the NFL is just kind of evened out a little bit. Everybody's kind of jumbled into this same stew of the NFC right now, even the AFC, just the whole NFL. Do you think Jordan Love's caliber of play is more due to him actually taking that next step, or everybody else around the league looking worse, Tommy?
Ooh, okay. I am going to argue that it is Jordan Love taking the step, but I don't hate the point. I think that we were spoiled, obviously, over the last decade with quarterback play, but I do think quarterback play is on a little bit of an upswing right now, and I think that goes to show how important an offensive play caller is for your team as well. Now, look at what Daniel Jones is doing this season. There's a lot of very competitive teams out in the NFC West with Matthew Stafford and Sam Darnold not looking like that was just a one-year wonder type situation for him. Baker Mayfield before this last game. I mean, there's a lot of great quarterback play going around, not to mention the AFC, where you're going to have guys like Josh Allen always being competitive and being ready to go. This is also a season that has seen no Joe Burrow and very little Lamar Jackson on guys that we thought were going to be impacting that quarterback play. Mahomes is really back into his swing of things too after a couple of years that were still great, but considered down years for Patrick Mahomes, if you will. I think that quarterback play is actually on the rise all around the NFL, and I do think that Jordan Love is rising with the cream to the top, and not necessarily just that the product of the league doesn't look as great. I do think the NFL product this year is significantly improving, and there is a lot more parity. I think that the best team in the NFL, like, no one believes it's actually the Colts, even though it is the Colts right now. And like, are you confident in the Chiefs to make a run now that they got added Rashee Rice back to the team? Are you confident in the Eagles to repeat based on what you've seen right now and how now the tush push can get stopped at some points? Like, there is more parity happening in the NFL. And I do think that the Green Bay Packers are trending in the right direction with that NFL's landscape.
I would say that I don't know if I 100% agree with you. I don't know if I would say they're 100% trending in the right direction. I think they have their moments. And like I said before, very volatile. But the first couple of games of the season, I think we were kind of shell-shocked a little bit by how good they looked in the first couple of games of the season, that it set these expectations so much higher with Micah Parsons added to that defense. But throughout those first 2 weeks, I guess I didn't see Jordan Love really look overly impressive. He looked good, but it wasn't like he was taking over any games. And then now it kind of feels like he's taken more of that role. He's taken more of these games into his own hands, especially after Cleveland, where I think, like you said, he knew he made a mistake. You knew he made a bad throw. Guy was reading it the whole way. It just made sense that it was going to end up being an interception, and he just stayed calm. He stayed cool, and he relaxed. And throughout the next few games, he's been that type of player for this Green Bay Packers team. I think he's trending in the right direction. I agree with you on that. But I think overall this team is, and maybe even it's the coaching staff, is almost struggling with the idea that Jordan Love is starting to take that into his own hands sometimes. So then I guess that brings me to my next question for you, Tommy. How much does Matt LaFleur impact Jordan Love's MVP candidacy? And if it's a season where Jordan Love is taking more control of the offense, taking the games into his hands a little bit more, at what point do you think he becomes like kind of that Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur type of relationship where Matt LaFleur is a little frustrated with Aaron Rodgers doing his own thing if Jordan Love isn't fully bought into a Matt LaFleur game plan, or maybe not fully bought in, but feels like he needs to do something else in a certain situation?
Yeah, I think, again, Matt LaFleur, another guy, very critical of his game when he has bad games, but you got to at least recognize when things are improving in that area too. I harped on it all week in the conversation we've had here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Like, I cannot express how happy I was that Matt LaFleur went for it on fourth down and won the football game against Arizona. I know it's the Cardinals with a backup quarterback. They've played very competitive football over the last month and just have been very unlucky. And you expect the Green Bay Packers to be at a much higher and elite level than that team. They also had travel issues that probably impeded their results as well. But to make that decision when you have been criticized for your decision-making in the end of football games and your clock management in the end of football games, that was a step in the right direction. That is a positive, a check in the favor of Matt LaFleur. Is he ahead of his cons? Maybe not. But if you continue to keep moving in that correct direction, and it's something that we've seen out of Motor City Dan Campbell all the time, where he's going to live and die by this sword, at least. He's not going to go out without a fight. And I think that Matt LaFleur making that decision to improve this team's record at the end of the day, like, that has to go down as a positive, and that has to go down as a step in the right direction. Do I have the most faith in what Matt LaFleur can put out? I wouldn't say it's at 100%. I would say that I believe in him more than most coaches in the NFL and where their fan bases are at. Did you see Mike McDaniel's comment about, my expectation is Tua doesn't throw 10 picks? Like, could you imagine? Like, I think
I would never want to play for that guy.
Well,
dude.
that's a comment that I think gets you fired in Green Bay.
Right.
Like, I don't even know if a Packer head coach could make a comment like that and see the next day. Like, once that happens, that's not how this operates with the Green Bay Packers. I want to see more of those steps in the right direction for Matt LaFleur. And I think that having that moment where you can go for it on fourth down, that is a start.
Right. And when you are Matt LaFleur and you are making these decisions to go for that fourth down, I think you also have to make the decision here to do that moving forward as well. It can't just be that week against the Arizona Cardinals that you're out there being aggressive and taking that fourth down opportunity. It has to happen against the Steelers too. You have to find those moments where you can be aggressive and you have to take that opportunity. It has to keep happening moving forward here, especially since the second half of the schedule gets a little bit more complicated. It gets a little bit more competitive, and you have to continue having this mentality that, you know what, I have the confidence that we can beat them any way possible. And right now, I guess I just don't believe the Packers have that yet. I think this is a one game, like you said, a step in that right direction. But the end of last season told me that they're going to try to play to the level of their opponents, but they have to know they're better than their opponents.
You have to gain that trust, and you can lose it a lot quicker than you can gain it. I understand that completely, and I don't doubt what you're saying. but like what looks like an impressive victory? What does that step look like against Pittsburgh then to you, Charlie? Because I tried to ask this question. It was a stumble on a lot of Packers fans. Like, what are you going to be satisfied with against Pittsburgh and chalk it up as impressive then? What does Matt LaFleur, what does the Green Bay Packers team have to do in order to showcase an impressive victory against Pittsburgh?
I think throughout the course of the season so far, we have seen these pockets of time where the Packers just have the right game plan, are just running it to a T. And then again, like I said, they fall off and do these kind of three and outs a couple times in a row and then just look amazing again. I think to me, a dominant performance, a game where you go out there and you do take that next step in almost all facets of the game, is taking those moments that we saw in the last game. Those times where you were just able to find Tucker Kraft and be able to feed him the ball and let him make plays, where you're able to hit Romeo Doubs in the red zone like we saw against the Cowboys. But then again, now here, I think these are situations where you know what you have as the Packers, and you know you can be aggressive in certain moments, and you know Jordan Love can take the game into his own hands. You have to let him do that. So you need to go out there and do the things that we've seen them do successfully so far this season on a more consistent basis. I need to see Tucker Kraft, again, get 6 catches at least in this game. I would like to see Romeo Doubs get another red zone touchdown because it's been working all season. I would like to see the run game and the pass game taking more of this kind of mixed approach that we've been seeing the past couple of weeks, instead of just forcing Josh Jacobs to carry the ball because he's healthy now fully, which he's not even fully healthy now. So these are situations where I just want to see consistency from what we've seen good already, and that will be a dominant.
Yeah, but like, is 27 not a consistent enough number for you to feel good about it? Like, do you want them to score every time they have the football? Do you want them to make no mistakes every game?
I want them to play 4 quarters of football. I don't want them to get 17 points in the fourth quarter again just because they played 3 quarters of bad football prior to that.
Yeah,
that's my issue. Is that the box score says that they're getting the same stats over and over again, but when you watch these games, this team is not playing a consistent style of football right now. And if you want to separate yourself from that pack, you have to start playing consistent style of football. That's what makes the Eagles so good, is that they can just go out there and do their thing no matter who the personnel is. That's what makes the Chiefs so good, is that they can just go out there and do their thing no matter what the personnel is. And they figured it out to take them to Super Bowls again and again over the course of the past 5 years. I mean, this is something that I think the Packers have the personnel to do finally. So now just start implementing your game plan and running that no matter who's on the field. Impose your strength and show that you can force that consistency and not just let it come to you whenever you take that opportunity.
Yeah, I feel that the NFL is a league that is forever evolving, and that it's proven that every game is always evolving too. There's just very rarely those moments of where one team is dominating the entire game, because it is a chess match going back and forth with coaching and personnel and scheme as well, that I think you have to recognize that as well in the NFL, and to expect perfection week in and week out, like that's not impressive to me. That's one team looks terrible. Then that is not impressive. If you are clicking on all cylinders, that is a problem on the other side. It is grinding out those wins and figuring out ways to come out victorious when you have things against you in a ball game. Like, those are impressive to me. And to find a 31-0 victory over the Raiders, if you're Kansas City, that doesn't make me think that the Chiefs are the best team. That makes me think that the Raiders are a dumpster fire. When Green Bay has to make decisions that win or lose football games, that is where you should be judged. Like, I know there's a meat and potatoes to all of this, but at the end of the day, there is such a little difference. It is that inch from the top, inch from the bottom, Pat Murphyism, if you will, with the NFL any given Sunday. And to make the decisions at the end of the football game that bring you out victorious is more impressive to me than dominating from beginning to end.
I think that's impressive to me if you're not constantly doing it. If you're not every week having to come down to these, again, 1 quarters where that's all that matters in these singular games. Yes, I do want to see my coaching staff make those decisions. I do want to see my quarterback make those decisions. But again, I want those decisions to be happening on a more consistent basis where they are ending in good decisions.
Sure.
That's what makes the Eagles and the Chiefs so good. Again, it's not that they are perfect every week. It's that they have weeks where they do look perfect, where they're beating the Raiders by 31 points. But that, yes, they're coming in the next week playing the the LA Chargers, and it's a closer game. And then Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are still making those right decisions later on in those games. You can have both. It's not about being one or the other. It's that you need to be able to have that balance of both. And I think the Packers are on the verge of that. They're just not there yet.
What about the Bears?
The Bears are so far away from that.
Okay, all right.
Their coaching staff is phenomenal. I love Ben Johnson. I
Yeah.
want to point that out. Like, he has done wonders with this team. Like, you saw just the change he's made between week 2 to week 4. Caleb Williams, he's good. Not as good as I'm wanted so far, but I'm happy with it. It's better than what we've gotten in any Bears quarterback in my entire lifetime. It is Wisconsin Sports Weekend, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. And we are powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and presented by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. When we come back, it will be time for the Warlock's Locks, and the Warlock is waiting on hold right here. So when we come back, Jack Pembroke, Tommy Wortz, and myself, Charlie Uczen, will be doing Warlock's Locks right here on Wisconsin Sports Weekend. This is Wisconsin Sports Week, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Charlie Uczen and Tommy Wortz over there. And we are powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and presented by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. You guys are hearing this mystical, fantastical music. That means it is time for Warlock's Locks on the line on the Gruber Law Talk or guest line here, 414-677-1250. We got our guy Jack Pembroke, the Wisconsin Warlock. Jack, how are you doing today, my man?
You know, we're doing well. We're out at the 103.7 bike-a-thon, and it's going well. Lots of bikes.
Awesome. Glad to hear. I'm glad it's a good setup over there for you. We wanted to still get you in on your segment here on Warlock's Locks. Tommy Wortz over there has the cheesehead, the cauldron filled with all the cards. Magical, mystical. Yeah, he's doing the Jack shake there for the Warlock.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy's going to pick 4 cards today. On each of those cards is a different NBA player due to the celebration of the beginning of the NBA season. We're going to pick some fantasy scores, some stat predictions for these guys this upcoming weekend. Tommy, why don't you pull that first card there?
Yeah, I did a little shuffle already for you, Jack. And then the one on top, like, how about Apollo Banchero? Ooh, if you would,
wow.
right there. Look at that. Yeah,
Wow.
Orlando Magic, Charlie's man crush, all of it there. Paulo Banchero, Mr. Warlock.
They take on the Chicago Bulls tonight at 6 p.m. Jack.
Oh, you're so conflicted, Charlie.
I know.
You're so conflicted.
Actually, I hate the Bulls. I've told myself I'm a Bulls hater this season. So, Jack, what are your expectations for Paulo against the Bulls tonight?
Oh, man. He can do everything, can he? So I'm thinking over 20 points, over 3 assists, and 8 rebounds.
All right, I like that. That's going to be a solid game. The Bulls are not a very intimidating defensive team. Nikola Vucevic is the slowest person I've ever seen in the paint. So I do expect Paolo to take advantage of that in a game like that. Tommy, what is the next player here?
Yes, the next one, the guy who I think most likely to look like Mr. Jack Pembroke, Jeremy Sohan right here.
I've never seen him.
He looks nothing like you. Teammates with, of course, Mr. Wembanyama, who is stuffing stat sheets. But Sohan, the next card here, Mr. Warlock.
They take on the Brooklyn Nets this Sunday. They have an 83% chance to win this game, according to ESPN. Sohan is currently listed as questionable, could come back for this game. If he does play in this game, Jack, what are your expectations?
Well, he's questionable, so I'm going to go lower than if he was actually healthy. So let's say less than 10 points and less than 3 rebounds.
All right. Okay.
I like that.
Mixing it up again. Here we go. And next one. Oh, we're in the same game here. It looks like. No, I'll get a different one for you. How about this one? New Atlanta Hawk member Kristaps Porzingis here for you.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's exciting. Man, Tommy is just pulling great cards.
Actually looks a lot more like Jack than Jeremy
that's
Sohan. A little bit more, yes.
They are taking on the OKC Thunder tonight, Jack. A matchup that's going to be a lot tougher for a guy like Kristaps, especially with their defensive prowess in the paint. What are your expectations for him there?
Well, I'd like to think that the Hawks try and get it to him in, good positions, whether it's shooting jumpers or in the paint. But like you said, it's a very good OKC team. Let's say Kristaps gets over 15 points and over 6 rebounds.
All right. I like that prediction. This is a game where I think they're going to have to rely on him if he's ready to go. I think you need somebody to at least tire down the paint unit in OKC a little bit. Chet Holmgren has been playing at like a defensive player of the year type of level when he's been on the court. So this is going to be a great matchup there. Tommy, the 4th and final card for the Warlock.
All right. This guy seriously looks like Jack Pembroke. Miles Turner. Miles Turner here now. The Milwaukee Bucks, of course. He's kind of been underwhelming so far, it feels like, but feels like a breakout game could be anywhere near Mr. Warlock.
Taking on the Cavs on Sunday night, Mr. Warlock.
Well, I think he needs a breakout because he's been enjoying too many cheese curds and beers at other sporting events in Wisconsin. But we like Miles Turner. I'd like to see him hit the boards heavy today. So let's say over 7 rebounds and let's say over 14 points.
All right. I like that. That should be a pretty solid game from him. I think last game he had 4 points and 5 rebounds. Giannis has just been a monster in the paint so far for this team. But I think this is a game where they're going to have to rely on a Miles Turner a little bit more with, again, another team that just has defensive prowess in the paint and an Evan Mobley and a Jarrett Allen. These are things you kind of have to worry about. So Miles Turner should be able to help pick up the slack a little bit. Jack, thank you so much for joining us on Warlocks.
No, thank you for having me in.
Of course, anytime. I'll see you next week right here on Wisconsin Sports Weekend over there in
Can't
place
wait,
of
guys.
Tommy. Should be a lot of fun. Jack, thanks again for coming on, my man.
Thanks, Warlock.
Thanks, boys.
So there he is, the Wisconsin Warlock, and there you have it, the Warlocks locks. If we run through that again, Paolo Banchero, he had with more than 20 points, 3 assists, and 8 rebounds in this game at least. Jeremy Sohan, if he plays in this game, 10 points, 3 rebounds. Not as impressive of a game from him, but again, that's a game-time decision at this point. Pretty questionable for him. Kristaps Porzingis in Atlanta with 15 points, 6 rebounds prediction from him. And then finally, Miles Turner with a 15.7 rebound prediction there. I think those are all pretty safe. Tommy, if you had to make a prediction for Miles Turner going up against Cleveland, this Milwaukee Bucks team, again, has just been dominated by Giannis Antetokounmpo, but a lot of guys playing their roles well. He's played his role well. It's just not as exciting as what I think we've expected.
Yeah, I think that he's a guy that we're all waiting to see him become that number 2 option in Milwaukee, and I don't know if that's necessarily going to be his role. Was Brook Lopez the number 2 option in his play style? I don't think it was.
Only when other guys were injured.
Yeah, it's not the same build of a team. I think that there was lower expectations, and he could exceed them expectations for Gary Trent Jr. this year. AJ Green, another guy, right? I mean, both those guys are averaging 7.5 threes together a game. I like what they do. Ryan Rollins, Cole Anthony. It's going to be a second option by committee in the backcourt, it feels like, all season. If Miles Turner can continue to be the guy to get 2.5 blocks a game and then find a way to get to double-digit rebounds and knock down 2 threes, like, that's going to be a fine role, I think, for him with Milwaukee.
I think I'd be very happy with that. If he can just, again, this is all I wanted from Miles Turner. I think a lot of people that were asking for second option type of role from him were crazy. He's a good player, but he's just not that. I think if he can do what Brook Lopez did for this team at a more athletic, consistent rate, that's all I'm asking for. Brook did his job as good as he could. And I think last season you just saw the age start to affect him a little bit. All you need is somebody to do that job well again. And you need the players around Giannis, like we saw on that championship team, that just mesh well with him. And what we're seeing is a team that meshes well with Giannis right now through the first 2 games. I'm excited to see what will happen. I'm not expecting number 2 numbers from Miles Turner. I'm expecting him to do the job that we've expected from that position for the past 8 years.
Of those 4 players we named, which one is the best at disc golf?
Ooh, that's tough.
Right? Like, just off the dome.
I mean,
which one are you associating?
It's got to be Kristaps.
It's got to be. I don't know. Like,
no, Jeremy Sohan.
Gives me disc golf vibes for sure. I'm looking at some of the other cards in here. Josh Giddey, like, definitely rips disc golf, like bangs chains. You know, Jordan Poole, like, he could have been in there. Cam Thomas.
Jordan Poole's a Wisconsin guy. I mean, everybody around here loves disc golf, I think.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards, I feel like he could just be good at any sport he tries too. Like, one of those guys, you know, that but I would think it's Sohan of the names that we named.
None of them are touching the Wisconsin Warlock. That's all I know.
No, not at all.
Just in case you guys didn't know, like, Jack is legitimately one of the best disc golf players in like all of Wisconsin. He's casually just out there.
Right. He's out there helping at different promo events. Obviously, once a week here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Wisconsin Sports Weekend. And then in his free time, he's just ripping disc, dude. Just ripping disc.
Love it. It is Wisconsin Sports Weekend live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. We are also joined on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network by lots of friends of the station here. It's been a lot of fun to be a part of this Wisconsin Sports Radio Network since we've gotten it going here. So stay tuned all week for that. We got lots of stuff still kind of coming here. Our YouTube graphics, we want to make them nice and fancy for the network. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for all of that. And we are powered by the Potawatomi Sports Book and presented by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. When we come back, it will be time to crawl.
Did we miss anything during the show? Maybe we didn't. It's time for the Wisconsin Sports Weekend Pub Crawl with Charlie Uczen and Tommy Wortz.
You know what that music means. It is time for the Wisconsin Sports Weekend Pub Crawl, like the big voice lady just said. I am Charlie Uczen. That is Tommy Wortz on the other side of the glass there. If you guys are brand new to Wisconsin Sports Weekend here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, do not fret. I got the description for this. It's really easy. We just go back and forth, sharing topics that we've heard from across the sports world, maybe not in the sports world. Jack likes to go into science sometimes because he's a little bit of a nerd over there. But I usually do not because I'm not a nerd. You know, I'm not about that. My girlfriend's the nerd. She does all the nerd work for me.
Yeah.
But we go back and forth, share something from across the world that you may have missed this past week in sports. I'll start us off here on the Wisconsin Sports Weekend Pub Crawl. This is something we've talked about on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network extensively this past week. But just in case you hadn't heard the news, Louisville, the University of Louisville, has decided on their college basketball team to sign a former NBA G Leaguer, London Johnson. He is 21 years old, has spent the last 2 seasons in the NBA G League after deciding to forego college to join the G League out of high school. He is now making his return back to college because he technically didn't lose any of his eligibility. There's a lot of really weird rules about this because technically the G League is pro basketball. It's the minor leagues of the NBA, if you are not familiar with that. This is all just a really interesting situation that I think could have really big ramifications moving forward in college basketball. Tommy, what were your thoughts on this kind of whole situation?
Yeah, it's a joke. It's ridiculous that we're continuing to just expand the rules as far as we have already in the blur between college and professional athletics. I think that, to be honest, Tom Izzo said it the best, is this you cannot be mad at the players for, because this is now officially people above their pay grade making these decisions to bring in this personnel now to college athletics. And it's the first time that I really felt that now there will be a needle moved, and this could accelerate a process of splitting from the NCAA in my mind. Like, they're just calling pros at this point.
Can you even really truly blame the university for doing this too? I mean, like,
it's
if
ethics,
it's not blocked by the NCAA,
yeah.
Like, I mean, I get it. Yes, ethically, this is not the best decision for Louisville. But at the same time, I mean, they must have went and asked the right questions to somebody for them to tell them that they could go and do this. And if you can do this, why not?
We should use the same argument that they are using in college athletics, where they have now living by their necessary means wage. We should do the same thing over here, and we should hold out and go be in the G League and then come back and not lose any radio eligibility because of that. That's my plan. We'll stay with college athletics and controversy, because this, I think, ties into this beautifully. November 1st is when you can start seeing college athletes bet on professional games. And my question to you, Charlie, is college athletics not professional at this point? Why can you not just bet on college games at this point?
I have no idea.
Right?
This is also just weird.
Well, imagine it in that way. There's going to be a scenario. We just saw what happened with the NBA over the week, and there's going to be a scenario in which a college athlete will place a bet on a college game, but then will there be an argument to say, well, this is professional. They are getting paid directly through the university in a revenue sharing type situation. Like, why is that anything different? I don't necessarily think it should happen, but again, let's break it down by the rules. You're just going to bet on pro sports leagues? How is the NCAA not a pro sports league at this point?
They're
Might
as
well.
Paid like it.
Yes.
Like, and when the Big Ten and SEC eventually leave the NCAA, because that's kind of where it's trending to right now in order to build their own conferences. I mean, they can't really look to enforce any of that.
Yeah.
If kids want to bet on the NCAA and they're not in the NCAA, then what can you do?
Yeah, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
Is all just really insane. A lot of just groundbreaking stuff happening with sports gambling, sports betting right now. Did you see on ESPN when they were talking about the Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier arrest, and they were discussing how awful it was that these guys are betting
sponsored by ESPN Bets right underneath. Like,
and then they just took it off.
Yeah, got to take that off. Got to take it off. Yeah, I mean, again, it's a massive market, and I understand why you promote it, but like, do you want these people to be a part of this community or above this community?
Right.
That's where you're at.
Next up here on the pub crawl, we're going to get a little bit more positive here, I think. Let's look at some of the award finalists for the MLB right now, especially for the Milwaukee Brewers. The Silver Slugger nominees came out this past week, and for the Milwaukee Brewers, you have Bryce Terang at second base. I think that was pretty expected for him. He played phenomenally in that last couple months of the season.
Yep.
Christian Yelich was in the Silver Slugger. He was probably one of the more consistent.
Also won the Good Guy Award which is just the most loser title to win. It feels like.
I feel like I'd be happy to win the Good Guy Award.
I guess like it's probably cool to be voted on by your peers,
Right.
but like voted on by the writers that cover the team, like. That's we need to get this guy an award. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then last up here, William Contreras making the catcher's list. He'll be going up against Will Smith and Hunter Goodman out of Colorado.
Yeah, no chance.
Yeah, no shot.
No shot. Terang might win it. Terang could. I could see that. Well, I mean, luckily Contreras didn't have to go up against Cal Raleigh in the AL, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like, because
nice.
that's the most surefire.
Christian Yelich is going up against Shohei Ohtani and Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, same vibes. Yeah, right. Yeah, I can't believe that. That's crazy to say that.
Tommy, who do you got up next?
Yeah, I'll stick with baseball because we'll talk a little World Series action here. Yesterday, the Blue Jays, it looks like Blake Snell was going to be in for another one of his awesome nights, and then all of a sudden, Milwaukee's own, Marshfield's own UWM grad, second-round pick, best player to ever be a Panther, Dalton Varsho with the 2-run homer yesterday to tie the game up, and then the Blue Jays completely running away with it, 11-4 in Game 1. Game 2 tonight. Charles, what are you feeling about tonight?
I think tonight, I feel like the Dodgers have to come out and just have like something.
The Blue Jays could be up 3-0, and I'm still like, Dodgers are winning this series. Like, I need to see the fourth game go through for Toronto in order for me to have any faith in Toronto. Still.
I am happy that they got out there right away and took the lead. I mean, it's fun. This is better than I was expecting.
Got to save some runs for the next game. So.
Yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, we were probably saying that in the ALCS, and they just kept scoring runs. So, I mean, anything can happen right now.
Yeah.
Next up here on the pub crawl, let's head over to the NBA, where number 30 overall pick, Indiana Pacer and former Marquette Golden Eagle Cam Jones had been arrested after leading the Indianapolis police on a brief chase. Last I heard, he was released from police custody. It was kind of like a traffic misdemeanor type of thing. Not a good start to your NBA career, though. Cam.
No, it's kind of shocking with how good he was at driving to the basket. I would have thought he'd be better driving off the court. But
he's a little more aggressive on the road.
It sounds like there was a little bit of a misunderstanding with it, and maybe it's all good and it's fine. And he apologized, and Rick Carlisle made him apologize. I hope the best for Cam Jones. And I hope that it doesn't turn into something that's a problem. But
feels very, I hate to say this, like Monty Ball coded.
You don't want to do that before you play like 5 games in the NBA and you were a second-round pick. That's what I would just say. So, yeah, understood.
Putting yourself in a little bit of a hole there. Tommy, what do you got up next on the book?
Yeah, massive UFC card tonight. I kind of feel as though I'm the only one that's really into the combat sports here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, but it does feel pretty big because it is a massive main event that starts, by the way, the main card starting at 1 p.m. today because they are in Saudi Arabia, I believe. Cyril Gane, Tom Aspinall. I hate the main card as people. Like, it's going to be a great fight. I don't want to root for Cyril Gane. I don't want to root for Tom Aspinall. I am a John Jones truther there, and I stay with John Jones. But he's not really fighting anymore. So I think that a lot of people are expecting Aspinall to get the victory today. Cyril Gane just feels like he got very quickly thrusted into, like, a national landscape. He's going for, I believe, his third shot. Maybe it's his second shot at the belt already too, and he was very not impressive in his last time there. So I'm excited to see what happens in the main card today. Plus, Mackenzie Dern, a lot of people excited to watch her fight. She's a co-main event today. I'm excited to watch it. I will be watching today.
All right, awesome. I probably will not be tuning in today. I'm not a big, combat sports guy like you had mentioned, but also Aspinall is a guy that I've heard his name floating around a lot. You mentioned yesterday if John Jones isn't coming back ever, Aspinall's the guy to kind of take up that reign.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's anybody else kind of coming up in the combat sport world, the UFC world, that's going to take that from him then?
That is the beauty of the heavyweight division. It's like one punch away, right? You know, it feels like there's always a dominant, but when you are 260 pounds of 8% body fat, like any one of those punches could like dehead a buffalo, it feels like. So yeah, it is always one punch away, but as of right now, Aspinall looks like the guy to beat in the division.
Awesome. Last up here for my side of the pub crawl, we're going to head over back to the MLB, where Tennessee Volunteers manager has made the jump to the San Francisco Giants. Tony Vitello is the first college manager to make that full jump, going from college manager to MLB manager. That's a really impressive thing to do. A lot of these guys like Pat Murphy had to fight his way through being a bench coach for a majority of his MLB career before he got the opportunity full time with the Milwaukee Brewers. Tommy, how surprising is this to you? I know this is something where people don't pay attention to college baseball as much because it takes so long for these guys to get there.
Yeah.
But like, this is pretty insane.
Well, and you're talking to a guy who loves college baseball too, because of what I've done in the past with college baseball as well. Vitello's a great manager. Tennessee's a great program. Why not give it a shot? Got to try to think outside the box. If you are these different MLB teams and you can't compete, the Giants, however, could spend the same amount of money that the Dodgers do. But trying to just get another edge to get over the hump, I'm all in on it.
All right, we got about 40 seconds left here. Tommy, you got one more left in you?
Yeah, WIAA playoffs going on. Shout out to everyone still making it. Whitefish Bay, big upset yesterday. So shout out to Mitch Nellis for that one. That's all I got for that, and hopefully it's any sort of disparity, and it's not like Franklin versus Kimberly like it always is.
Right. Yeah, Tommy and our schools did not do very good. Cudahy and Brookfield
2 and 3 in conference play. I'll take that. From
that's
Cudahy.
better than
I would take that in conference
That's
play.
better than nothing. That will do it for the Wisconsin Sports Weekend Pub Crawl, and subsequently we'll do it for Wisconsin Sports Weekend. I'm Charlie Uczen. That's Tommy Wortz over there. We're on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We will catch you guys next week, where it will be myself and Jack Pembroke back here on Wisconsin Sports Weekend. Thank you.